No one likes to fight. And yet fighting is just a natural part of being in a relationship. And experts actually say that fighting is important for having a healthy communication pattern with your partner. But there's a right way to fight and there's a wrong way to fight. So here are 6 fighting fair rules. Number 1, use good active listening skills. You've got to be able to understand where your partner is coming from, which means you've got to listen to them and really hear them and understand what they're really trying to say to you. The best way to do that is to listen, of course, with both ears without trying to think about your response while they're still talking. That means no interrupting. It also means clarifying what they're really trying to say. And you just simply do that by saying something like, it sounds like what you're trying to say is, and then you repeat back what you think you heard. The next fighting fair rule is don't bring up the past. It doesn't matter how many times this has happened before and how frustrated you are. Nobody wants to be beaten up with their past mistakes. So let the past stay where it is. Keep the conversation, the argument about present day, present moment. Don't go back through a litany of similar experiences where your partner has done the same thing or something similar. You're not going to get a good response from your partner when you do that. Fighting fair rule number 3, don't accuse or jump to conclusions or try to mind read. You don't always know what your partner's thinking or feeling or what they're trying to say. You might think you know based on the past again, but it's far better for you to actually clarify what you think is being said. And it'll save you a whole lot of misunderstandings and ultimately hurt. So again, the easiest way to clarify that is to simply say something like, it sounds like you're saying this, or this is how I'm taking it, or this is how it feels to me when you do this. Is that what you're trying to communicate to me? 4th fighting fair rule. Avoid words like you, always, never, and why. And of course, we love to put those words together, don't we? You always do this. You never do that. Why do you always do those things? Why do you never do that? What that does is it verbally backs your partner into a corner. And the only way out of the corner is forward. So if a person feels attacked, they are going to counterattack. Fighting fair rule number 5, focus on the problem, not the person. When you focus on the problem, you take those words out of your communication, and instead of using you do this, you do that, you're using words like we and us. We have an issue around this, whatever this is. We need to talk about this problem. We need to come up with a solution. Chances are, whatever your partner's doing, you're doing to one degree or another also. Because none of us communicate or live perfectly. So using we and us is probably far more accurate than doing the finger pointing, the blaming, and putting your partner on the defensive. Finally, the last fighting fair rule is, to the best of your ability, don't go to bed mad. Now, we hear that a lot, but think about the reasons why you don't want to do that. When we're fighting, our emotions are high, they're intense. If we go to bed still angry and then we wake up the next day and we haven't resolved this problem and the emotion of the situation has calmed down, we're less likely to want to talk about this because we don't want to go back to that intensity of emotion. So we end up just not talking about it, which means we don't resolve it. It's far better for us to take a timeout. I love timeouts. They're not punishment. They're actually opportunities for us to step away from the situation for a short period of time. Think about what was said. Think about what the real problem is, calm ourselves down, quiet our brain, think about what part is us, what part is our partner, and what we want to say to our partner about this, as well as what we think the solution to this is. To the best of your ability, if you can do this before you actually go to bed, the chances are you're going to resolve this problem far more effectively than trying to revisit it the next day when it's easier to just sweep it under the rug and not deal with it at all.